Hi, this is the presentation for the Google Forms tutorial. Why will we be using Google Forms? Google Forms is commonly used for quizzes or for surveys. Surveys are one useful way for us to collect data and answer the WASC prompts. To that end, Google Forms will be an excellent alternative to conducting surveys through emails. So how will we use Google Forms? There are 4 steps that we'll go through. We'll begin by accessing our Gmail account and then create the new Google Form document. Next, customize the questions in your Google Form, and finally, share the link. So the first step is to access your Gmail account. We'll start by entering our typical email format, first name, last name at therhswriters.com with a period, probably. And then at the top right, you will click on the Google Apps Launcher icon. Looks like this 3x3 grid of squares. And then within the menu, select Google Drive. The next step is to create the new Google Form document. At the top left, we'll click on the New button, and then we will select More, and we will go to Google Forms. And if this is all going too fast, don't worry, I'll give a live demonstration for how this really looks right now. From your Drive, or from your Gmail, you would go and you click on Drive, and it brings up your Drive. And from within Drive, you can click on New, and we go to More, and we find Google Forms. So this is where we first have access to Google Forms. You'll probably get a pop-up window that talks about taking a tour. You can go ahead and do that. It's only about 4 prompts that'll show you different aspects of the Google Forms. So the first thing you want to do is change this from our Rivals color to Roosevelt green, and then we'll look at the different sort of settings. They'll say there's options to use this for quizzes or use this for general. We'll keep this at general. Notice it also gives you an option to limit to 1 response, so we can keep track of how many times a person's completed it, or limit them to only doing it 1 time. And you will also notice that for these 3 dots on the right, where it says add collaborators, at this point you want to make sure that you want to type in the email of your WASC prompt partner so that they can edit this form as well. You can change if they can edit it or in that respect. Then you just send it to them that way. So anyways, when we're creating our form, we can start by giving it a title. I'll begin by titling mine as WASC Prompt B 1.3, and then below I can include the prompt description. And this is so that anyone who's taking my survey would immediately know what it is that this prompt is going to be looking for. And then from here, we will change the different types of questions that are available on this survey. So it begins by having, it says untitled question, multiple choice. I'll demonstrate all the different types of questions that you can ask using this Google form, and then I'll leave it to you to play with it and figure out which one you like the most. So if we were to go with the short answer, then this would be what the short answer question would look like, and the space below short answer text is where whoever takes your survey would be typing in their answer. And for each one of these questions, you can change whether or not the question is required for them to complete before they turn in the form. Other options are you can duplicate these questions, or if it turns out that you don't want this question after all, then you can delete the question. And you'll also notice that when a question is required, that it has a red asterisk next to it. If we want to add a different type of question, then we'll use this plus button here. And here we can see what does a paragraph look like. And we'll say that this one is required as well. And the other options are a multiple choice, such as a true or false. And here we can change the text to say true for one case, or we can add another option to say false for another. If we were to say add other over here, then whoever's taken our survey would be given a third option to describe, and so we can't fill in this detail. That's for whoever's taking our survey to fill it in. But since we can't have anything that's neither true nor false, we'll delete that. And then we'll add another example. This would be a checkbox where we would ask to check all that apply. Option 1, option 2, option 3, and we can change whatever descriptions these are. And another option would be the drop-down menu. Select only one from the drop-down. And here, rather than having the choice between many different things to select as many as you want, in this case it can only be one from the drop-down menu. And we'll be able to see that. Otherwise, other options are the linear scale, which could be helpful if you wanted to say which do you feel most strongly about. Or in this case, we could even label 1 as being worst and 5 as best. In this case, I think that'll work out even easier. Or, what seems to work out even better is if we have a multiple choice grid. So instead of having to repeat this linear scale over and over again, if we have a couple of different questions that follow the same process, then we can survey multiple questions from worst to best. So row 1 would be question 1, row 2 is question 2, and row 3 we'll just say question 3. And then for the column 1 would be strongly disagree. Column 2 is mildly disagree. And column 3 we'll say neutral. Column 4 mildly agree. And column 5 strongly agree. And I think this looks like it'll work out, but if we're not sure, it's okay. We can click on this preview button and we'll get a good view for what will our form look like. So right away we'll find out, was there anything about our form, the way it's laid out, that you might want to change? Is there any of these headings that you have in here not the right one, or is a format you want to change? And you'll also be able to interact and see how can these, if you're answering one of these, can you answer more than one at a time? Not in this case. Okay, so you can go ahead and play with this one as a live demonstration as well, just to verify that you have it working the way that you want it to. So that's the gist for creating the form and being able to play with it. The last thing you're going to want to do is to let's see here. You want to be able to share the link. So we'll begin this process by going to the top right center and we'll click responses. Oh, it's over here. So where we click responses, now we can go to create spreadsheet, and we'll just create a title for this spreadsheet. This one would be survey, we'll say WASC survey results. And next we will click on this send icon at the top right and share the link with your WASC leader. So now we take, which was our survey, and we will send this link by clicking this link icon, and we can just copy this and we can send it as an email now to our WASC leader at this point. And the last thing we'll need to do is access the spreadsheet from our Google Drive and make sure that we share access with our partner as well. You might remember before we were able to add a collaborator so that you and your partner are also able to work on this survey. If we go to the drive and we find this new spreadsheet that was created, then we can also share access of this survey with our WASC partner as well by clicking on this share icon, and then you type in the email address of your partner in there. You can do it that way, or from within your drive you can just right click on it and say share, and you type in the address of whoever it is that you want to share it with. And you can change if they're going to edit or only comment or only view the document. So anyways, that's going to conclude the scope of this presentation for today. During our next WASC meeting, we'll discuss how the surveys can be accessed and completed, and we'll also discuss how to review the survey results.